A couple of special guests today that we're going to be talking to. Right now in America, MMA fighting is bigger than it has ever been. There are events going on all around the country that are being put on each and every week, and there are thousands and thousands of people that make it out to these events, and it's been awesome to see how this sport has really caught on. About a week ago, we spoke with a guy by the name of Chris Spruill, and he's involved in a whole lot of different things, but one of the things that he's involved in is helping an MMA league in Florida. We've got Chris Spruill on the line again, and we've got a guest with him as well from that MMA league. It's called Legends Combat League. We have Maurice the Beast Salmon. He is a champion MMA fighter. Guys, how are you doing today?
Hey, man. Good. We're doing awesome.
Well, we're glad to have you on the program here. Now, we spoke with Chris last week, and while we were talking with Chris, he was telling us a little bit about the MMA league that he works with down in Florida, and that's where Maurice the Beast Salmon is on the phone with us now is in Florida. Now, it's called Legends Combat League, and I'm on the website right now, Legends with a Z, legendscombatleague.com. It's pretty cool. I'm looking on here, learning a little bit about what you guys do. But first, Maurice, how long have you been doing this?
We've been doing it for a little over 2 years now.
So that's when you started the league. When did you start in the MMA? Is this something that you've been doing for a long time?
Yeah, I've been in the sport probably almost 15 years.
And what got you interested in mixed martial arts?
A variety of things. First of all, I started on TV back in the first UFC days, and I watched Horace Gracie take on several different opponents and being a smaller man, and I watched him win the Ultimate Fighter 1 and 2. So fast forward a couple years later, one of my best friends was an instructor. He was telling me, man, you ought to get into it. So I was working as a project engineer from Beijing, China, and I decided to start training in Wing Chun, one of the traditional martial art forms in Jeet Kune Do over in Beijing. And when I moved back to the United States, I made a choice and stuck to it, and here we are 13 years later.
That is fantastic. Now, as you've been over the course of the last, decade or so that you've been doing this, a little over a decade that you've been doing this, how has this sport changed? I think it's probably a little more prominent now than it was back then, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's more mainstream now. It's evolving as well. The rules are different. There's different forms of it. In Brazil, there was NHB, no holds barred fighting back in the early days before it was really mainstream, where the rules were different. There was head kicks while guys were down on the ground. There was eye gouging. There was strikes to the groin. So anything that it took to win a fight was legal back then. So I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen as the rule change and how it's transcended from a very, very and I won't use the word barbaric because that's the word that people like to use, but it is what it is. It was a very, very brutal sport that didn't have the direction that it has now, and the direction that it has now allows fighters to come in, be protected, and have longer lasting careers.
Again, on the phone right now with Maurice the Beast Salmon. He's the president and a pro MMA champion with Legends Combat League in Florida. Now, for somebody listening, maybe they're saying, I've always had an interest in this, and I've always thought this would be an awesome thing to get involved in. How does a person go about getting started in mixed martial arts?
Well, what you have to do is make a decision on what sport, which art you want to follow, which art works best for you. You have several different ones. You have boxing, you have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you have wrestling, you have Taekwondo, you have several different forms of martial arts. So the first thing is to decide what style of martial art works best for the individual. And then you develop a base and just determining whether a person wants to be competitive or not, because everything isn't for everyone. Some people realize that they don't want to take a punch to the face, and that's okay because you don't have to. But there's something for everyone. We offer grappling tournaments, we offer kickboxing tournaments, we do mixed martial arts. So that's the purpose of our league, to open the opportunity for several different levels of competitors to take on, to challenge themselves with different forms and at different levels, at different degrees.
So what would you say is the typical background, or is there such a thing as a typical background of an MMA fighter? Where are they usually coming from? Are they, former wrestlers from high school, or were they in other sports, or are these people who maybe were never involved in a traditional sport but said, hey, you know what, I've always wanted to do something like this? What do you see as far as the background for most of the fighters that you know?
A variety of things. It just takes a decision and a choice to train, honestly. I've seen everybody from people that initially got into MMA because they wanted to stay out of the house in the evenings and they wanted to learn a new art, and they fell in love with the art. They saw guys training for fights around them, as those guys were preparing for fights, and you got the average Joe preparing them and helping them train and watching in the same gym, and then all of a sudden the light bulb goes off. They say, I think I want to do this too. I've coached probably over 500 guys inside of the cage, so I've coached everything from professional athletes that are fighting for championships all the way down to the people that walked into their first amateur fight and wanted to give it a try. So I'd say the background, it's a variety. There's no set in stone ideal and so this is what an MMA fighter is cut out of. You have to be tough, you have to be mentally strong, and you have to make a decision that this is what you want to do.
And I'm on the website right now, legendscombatleague.com. And again, remember, Legends with a Z, folks, legendscombatleague.com. I see on here it says, get started, register today. So if I'm interested, maybe I'm listening right now saying, I've always wanted to do this. If I'm interested, can I actually sign up right through your website to become a mixed martial arts fighter?
Well, it's a little bit different. I wouldn't say that you'd be able to sign up to just jump straight in the cage, but we have several different types of events. So if you register for an event, what you'd be doing is you'd be registering for that particular event that we're having at the time. So if we're doing a kickboxing competition, then you'd be looking at kickboxing. But as far as registering to do mixed martial arts, there's a little bit more when it comes to blood work, sanctioning, and actually physically going through the process of taking a fight. You have boxing commissions involved, but we provide the platform for people to get that beginning. Yes.
Well, it's really cool. This is a lot of fun to learn about, and I know this is an emerging sport, and I shouldn't even maybe call it that because it's already emerged, but I think it's a growing sport. It's a sport that, 10 years ago, there were a lot of people that have never heard of MMA, but over the last decade, this has just exploded, and a lot of people have heard about it, and a lot of people are doing it. And again, on the line right now, we're visiting with one of the fighters from the Legends Combat League, and not just a fighter. Maurice the Beast Salmon is also a champion, and he's the president of that league as well. Thank you so much, Maurice, for taking some time to chat with us today. I appreciate it a bunch.
I definitely appreciate you taking the time to give me a call today, Joe.
Definitely. And again, the website is legendscombatleague.com, Legends with a Z, legendscombatleague.com. And we still have Chris Spruill on the line, too. Chris, thank you again for lining up the interview with us, and I appreciate you doing that.
Absolutely, and thank you for inviting me back to the show.
Definitely. It's fun to chat with you, and if you've got more fun guests, be sure to bring them on back. It's fun to connect, and this is really cool. This is neat to learn about some of the things that people maybe only see on TV other than this. So it's really cool to have a chance to learn about this.
And Joe, I just want to say that what we're trying to do is we want to be able to provide a platform for everybody to compete and learn about the sport and challenge themselves. So we have a program and we have a league that's set up for children all the way up to guys who want to compete at the pro level. So our main goal is to have something for everyone. We want to be able to provide an opportunity for anyone that wants to either strap on the gloves and compete or anybody that wants to get on the mat and compete. We want to provide